The size of that thing now. So we arrived at Pamukkale, Hierapolis, to look at these calcium carbonate deposits which have come out of the ground with the thermal water. These are the first signs of them. They're absolutely enormous. It looks almost like snow. Well, this is the way into Pamukkale or Hierapolis. We've travelled for 4 hours to get here from Izmir, and it's now midday temperature. So these are autumn crocuses. Hierapolis. Wonderful. Well, this is the ancient site of Hierapolis, which is above the calcium carbonate deposits. And this is one of the main entrances into it. This is the theatre at Hierapolis, which has been renovated. These are the extensive ruins of Hierapolis. Big theatre over there. You can walk up to it. It's, have a look at it. If you haven't seen the theatre before, it's probably worth going to, but it's very, very hot today. 30 degrees. Here you can see more extensive ruins of this nice avenue of what look like French marigolds, but they're very big. And over there where the crane is, where they're doing renovation, you can see the theatre. This is Hierapolis as it was in the Byzantine era.
The other way around for me too. Is a theatre. If it takes me 15 minutes to get up, it's going to take me 20 at least to get down. Yeah, that's a theatre.
So this is my first sight of these springs. It is absolutely stunning. They are much bigger than I ever imagined. Looking down across at the plain and the mountains in the distance. So as the water evaporates, it leaves these calcium carbonate deposits which form these little dams, and you get little lagoons formed behind them. You can see just how extensive they are by the people over there, a long way off.
Oleander. Like the shooters.
Shoes off. I'll walk across this. And follow this crowd down. Fortunately, it's quite quiet today. I understand it can be absolutely heaving. And quite a number of Russians here. They obviously are able to divert the water. I noticed this bit over here has no water running over it at all. I suspect they can divert the water so that it flows over those pools there. Nevertheless, it's quite stunning to see. You were thinking it would be slippy, but it isn't. Nevertheless, you have to be quite careful. If you fall down, you're going to get wet. It's a little bit deceiving, because some of these structures have been made from concrete, and as the waters come over them, it deposited on the concrete to make it it's an amazing place. Isn't that just wonderful? Away from the main drag, as it were. Most of the travertines, as they call these things, are dry because the water hasn't been flowing over them. And of course, many of them are indeed concrete structures with the water flowing over them to cause these little lagoons, these little lakes. Nonetheless, once the calcium carbonate has been deposited as the water tends to evaporate, it's really like the formation of stalagmites and stalactites in England, in limestone country. It is very, very spectacular. And if they're left without water, as many of them have been further down, they go a sort of brownish grey colour and lose their appeal. It's that time of day again. 5 times a day, this. Not everywhere. These travertines here seem to be natural. And over there you can see the people like ants walking down the bit which they are irrigating at the moment. The ancient town of Hierapolis, which is at the top here, of which very little still exists, although they're renovating the theatre. It was here for medicinal purposes. It was thought that these waters, as indeed in many places such as spas in England, they thought that taking the mineral waters or bathing in these warm waters would cure them of just about every ailment they had. So you can see from this bit where I am, I have the whole place to myself. There's nobody here. Looking across to those hills and listening to the Imam calling everybody to prayer. Oh, there. It's very, very nicely done. Beautiful gardens. This area is totally devoid of people. You mustn't walk on it. They're very, very strict. And a couple of people over there, and he's just gone whipping around there to get them off. Oh, wonderful place it is. Amazing sight. There you can see where the older ones without water, they go grey and brown, and eventually they're colonised by vegetation. This is a long way from the crowds. It's very, very quiet, very, very peaceful, and you can see how vegetation is taking over this area here. And you can also see where they've made these little concrete dams to try and enhance the effect of the deposits. And here you can see one of the sluice gates which they use to control the water, so they can divert it to wherever is necessary. So it's well managed by man. You can come this far along, you can see from this boardwalk, which is gradually being overgrown. But very few people venture this far. So this is the far extremity. If I turn round slowly, there's a breach there. You can see the plain. And there you can see the right side of these extensive deposits. But on this side, nobody comes here. And down there you can still see that there is water flowing near the bottom of them, extending them even further. These are the thermal pools, which cost you 30 lira to swim in. would take us. And it's very, very hot. This is the analysis of the antique pole and what it cures. Obesity, I find that hard to believe. But as you can see, the vast majority of it is calcium carbonate, together with probably calcium sulfate or magnesium sulfate, Epsom salts. That's probably why it's good for constipation. Then again, you wouldn't want to drink it. I've seen all those bodies swimming about in it. Those are the radioactive content. Alpha, beta, radioactivity.